The building was empty. At least that's what they were told. Story 1. I've cleaned offices for 12 years, and I've learned silence has a weight. It presses down when the world sleeps, especially in a corporate tower that holds its breath after midnight. Tonight, the silence was heavier than usual. 7 floors, fluorescent ghosts flickering in deserted hallways. My cart squeaked, too loud, too alive. I kept checking my watch. 2:17 a.m., the worst hour. Not because of ghosts, because of the stillness. It's when the quiet starts moving. I was on the 5th floor, wiping down a conference table. The building's HVAC had shut off an hour ago. No hum, no buzz, just me, the squeak of my rag, and the occasional drip from a faulty faucet 2 offices down. Then I heard the footsteps. Not mine. They came from the hallway, slow, deliberate, leather soles on tile. I froze. No visitor badges had been scanned. No one was scheduled. I called security once, last month, about someone walking an audit after hours. They found nothing. Said the cameras were glitching. The steps stopped outside the conference room. I didn't breathe. The door creaked open. Just an inch. No hand. No shadow. But I felt it. The cold draft that snaked across the floor, though all the windows were sealed. I turned slowly. The door stayed ajar. The hallway beyond was dark, lit only by a single exit sign casting a bloody glow. Nothing moved. I forced myself to keep working. It's the building settling. It's pipes. It's fatigue. But then it happened again. Footsteps, this time down the hall, turning the corner toward the executive wing. I glanced at my cart. My walkie-talkie was gone. I knew I'd left it clipped to the side. I always do. I found it 2 offices away, on the desk of a manager who left 6 months ago. Dusty, unplugged. My pulse drummed in my ears. I packed up fast, avoiding mirrors, avoiding thoughts. As I pushed the cart toward the elevator, I heard it. A soft, rhythmic tap. 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 Coming from inside. I stopped. The noise came again. Not from the cart. From the office beside me. Room 514. I shouldn't have looked. But I did. The door was ajar. Inside, the blinds were drawn. A single desk lamp burned, casting long shadows. And in the chair, the one behind the desk, was a shape. Slumped. Motionless. My breath caught. Then, slowly, the back of the chair turned. No one was in it. But it kept turning. The tap. Tap. Tap came from the desk. Just the tremor of a pen bouncing in an empty inkwell, shaken by motion I couldn't see. I backed away. The elevator dinged. Too soon. Too perfectly timed. The doors opened. Empty. I got in. Hit G. As the doors closed, I looked back. The chair in 514 had turned fully around, and for just a second, I saw them. 2 handprints on the leather back, damp, spreading like sweat. The elevator descended. No one entered on the floors below. But when the doors opened to the lobby, the smell hit me first. Wet paper, old cologne. And on the front desk, placed neatly, was a key card I'd never seen. It had my name on it. And the photo wasn't mine. Story 2. I was the last one out of the building that night, the clock on the wall blinking 2:13 a.m. in its indifferent amber glow. The security desk was empty, the lobby lights dimmed to a sleepy hum, and the only sound I could hear was the faint thrum of the HVAC system fighting the cold. I'd worked the night shift at the downtown insurance office for 3 years, and by now the quiet had become a companion. I could almost feel the building breathing, the way the concrete walls exhaled through the vents. I was used to the occasional creak of the old floorboards, settling, adjusting, nothing more than a building's ordinary size. Tonight, that familiarity turned sour. I'd just finished logging the last of the day's claims when a soft tap sounded from the far end of the 3rd floor conference room. I froze, heart thudding against my ribs, and listened. Nothing. The tap came again, a deliberate staccato pattern that seemed almost rhythmic. Probably the pipes, I muttered to myself, but the sound was too crisp, too precise for a pipe's clank. I stood, the fluorescent lights flickering above, casting thin, trembling shadows across the carpet. The hallway stretched ahead, empty, the carpet's plush fibers unmoving. I took a step toward the conference room, each footfall echoing in the stillness. The tap intensified, as if someone were impatiently knocking on the glass panel of a filing cabinet. I reached the doorway and peered inside. The room was empty, the long table bathed in a cold, sterile light. A single swivel chair sat turned backward, its wheels still. Then I heard it. A soft shuffle, the sound of something sliding across the carpet, moving from the far wall toward the center of the room. My breath hitched. I could see the faint outline of a hand, a pale blur against the dimming light, reaching for the edge of the table. The hand lingered, hovered, then slipped back into the shadows as if it had never been there. My skin prickled. I called out, "Hello? Is someone there?" My voice sounded thin, swallowed by the building's cavernous silence. No response, only the low, persistent hum of the ventilation. I backed out of the room, heart pounding, and the taps ceased. The silence pressed in, thick as a shroud. I could feel the building's pulse, its old wooden beams creaking in time with my own breath. On the way down the stairs, a soft rustle echoed from the storage closet on my left. I turned, eyes straining in the weak emergency light, and saw the door ajar just enough for a glimpse of movement inside. Something, perhaps a box, was being nudged, inch by inch, across the concrete floor, as if an invisible hand were sliding it toward the exit. I didn't think. I didn't pause. I sprinted to the security desk, slammed the keypad, and hit the emergency alarm. The shrill wail cut through the night, forcing the building's own quiet to recoil. In the blaring noise, the unseen movement stopped. The door of the storage closet swung shut with a soft click. Later, when the morning shift arrived, the manager found the conference room empty, the chair still turned backward, and the storage closet door locked from the inside. No one could explain the faint footprints that appeared on the carpet that night. Tiny, almost imperceptible, leading from the closet to the table and disappearing at the edge of the hallway. I never worked the night shift again. The building still stands, its silence just as heavy, its walls still breathing. But now, when I walk past it in the daylight, a chill runs down my spine, and I can still hear, somewhere in the depth of the empty floors, a faint tap waiting for the darkness to return. Story 3. I was supposed to guard the old Axis Bank building, an empty skeletal maze of marble floors and flickering fluorescence. My shift started at midnight, but I arrived early. Nerves made me clutch the rusted door handle at 11:58 p.m., the digital clock above the front desk glinting 11:59 as if mocking me. The office was dead. No machines hummed. No air conditioning hissed. Just the tick-tock of my own pulse. I sat in the security chair, chin in my hands, staring at the 12 monitors. All showed empty hallways, their grainy gray feeds interrupted only when a rat scuttled across a carpeted corridor. Then, at 1:14 a.m., I heard it. A tap-tap-tap in the northwest wing. My head snapped up. Footsteps. Deliberate, slow, like someone tapping a rhythm on hardwood. I waited. They stopped. I told myself it was a trick of the heating system. But they started again at 1:27 a.m., closer this time. Tap, tap, tap. Circling the perimeter. I grabbed my flashlight and radio, my breath fogging the cold air. The building groaned as I opened the steel door to the hallway. Moonlight seeped through dusty windows, casting long shadows. The footsteps paused. I froze. Then, a shuffling from the vault room. The door was ajar. I pushed it open, beams slicing through darkness. Empty. But the movement continued. Files rustling on the far shelf. Shh, shh, shh. as if brushed by a hand. My flashlight trembled. There, a shadow, too tall, too still, against the back wall. I inhaled. It turned. I ran. Tap, tap, tap echoed behind me, accelerating, matching my pace. I burst into the lobby, slammed the security door. The footsteps stopped. I pressed my back against the door, eyes locked on the peephole. Nothing. Then, at 1:43 a.m., the monitors blinked to life. All 12 screens showed the same thing. A figure in the vault, facing the door. Its head swiveled, slow as a camera tracking a target. My radio crackled. A voice, hollow and distorted, said, "You're not supposed to be here." I didn't wait. I fled through the side exit, not stopping until I hit the sidewalk, where the city's neon hum swallowed me whole. The building still stands, they tell me, hollow and hiring night guards. They always need watchmen. I never check the mirrors when I walk home alone. But sometimes, in the static between heartbeats, I swear I hear tap, tap, taps, keeping pace.